Hi, this is Bill Spatrino. Today is February 5th, 2019. Okay, today we're going to talk about the different presidential candidates. We're going to talk about the wall and where I think it's going. We're going to talk about the stock, and then we're going to talk about an athlete that actually I'm proud of, because people think I don't like athletes, and the fact is I do. The first thing is we're going to talk about the different candidates. The Democratic Party thing is, someone asked me the other day, they said, Billy, what do you think of this? I said, I think this is a complete clown show. They said, what do you mean? So, well, we got a booker, a hooker, and we got a pretend Indian. And Bloomberg, who was the cop of soda and guns in New York. So, all we need now is someone to pretend they're a sailor. And we can have the village people here, okay? Except the village people actually had talent and could actually sing and entertain people. These people are, I don't even know what the heck's going through their minds, okay? But I can assure you one thing. None of these people, the booker, the hooker, the pretend Indian, the cop, and Gillibrand might as well be a sailor, because she ain't going to... None of them are going to become the president. I can tell you that right now. Okay. They're not. I don't even think they're going to be the nominees. Okay. I mean, you have Grope-a-Dope, which Joe Biden and Beto O'Rourke, the grope and the dope, but they haven't descended. And I mean, Bernie, the best thing to call him is, like Trump says, crazy Bernie. Okay. So right now, I don't see anybody. When Biden says he's the most qualified person to be the president, that's like saying you're the tallest midget. And there's no offense to midgets, because I'm not that tall person myself. Okay. I mean, look, until we get somebody who actually is serious and somebody who could actually win, then we'll discuss who, like, Then I'll worry about, we'll talk about the matchup with Trump. The one thing I will talk about, though, Elizabeth Warren has a plan to tax wealth. And I'm telling you, as an economist and a person who understands wealth, there may be some traction on what she's doing with, she's got people between 50 million and up making like 2%. And if you make over $1 billion, you pay 3% of your wealth tax every year. Honestly, as dumb as that sounds, if I knew the money was actually going to be spent on reducing the deficit, I would condone that, and I'm going to tell you why. If you could make a deal with the rich people, and you told them, look, their taxes aren't going up anymore for the marginal tax. I mean, if a person gets $50 million and you have to give the government $1 a year out of it, you still got $49 million. That's a heck of a lot better than taking 55% out of somebody's estate tax. Okay? Or Bernie's plan, when you die, he wants to take, if you make $3 million and you have an estate of $3 million, he wants to take 57% of that, or like 1.7 to leave your family with 1.3. So if you inherit a family farm for $4 million, you'll have to sell it and give it to the government. Okay? I don't go for that. I don't go for the estate tax. I think the wealth tax, what Elizabeth Warren has going, whether you like it or not, it's a good idea. It's her first good idea. But I know some of the people on the far right are going to complain to me, but I think if you made that deal with the deal that income taxes were going to be frozen and estate taxes were going to be eliminated, I think people would go for that. You can't have an estate tax if you're going to do that. Okay. And I mean, you're only going after people with, see, I don't mind 2 and 3%. That's something that people can live with. I don't like 30, 40, 50. I mean, you're supposed to tithe 10%. Okay. I don't go for that other stuff. As far as Trump with building the wall, people keep saying to me, Billy, you're not saying anything. Your guy, you're making excuses for your guy. Okay. And I told you last week I wanted to think this through, and then I sat down and did some research, and I've come to this conclusion of what I think is going to happen. Okay, and this is where I think Trump is like a fox. Now, he's consulted the best lawyers, I'm sure. Okay. My feeling is Trump was told by his lawyers that, like, if he could win, to win in court on declaring a national emergency, he's got to look like he tried everything else. Okay. And it was not arbitrary and it was not capricious. Okay. It's not political, and that there's a true emergency exists. Okay. And with that caravan of 12,000 people coming, he timed it perfect. Okay. It's going to time it perfect. He's given Congress every chance to appropriate the funds. Okay. Congress needs to look arbitrary and capricious and acting only for political purposes. Okay. And they are. There's the Border Patrol has to come out and say there's a true emergency, there's a humanitarian crisis and an urgent need for the barrier and the other funds which Trump has offered. You got to remember, it wasn't Trump who decided it was $5.7 billion. It was the Border Patrol. And they need the other pieces that he offered for drug detection, 1,700 more agents, humanitarian aid, etc., plus the DACA. Okay. It's likely the bipartisan group will approve all the things except for the barrier. Okay. It will not be a complete package without the barrier. That's what Trump is trying to say. The courts are not going to be the ones, and should not be the ones, that decide who wins a congressional negotiation. Okay. Based on politics. But they need to allow the president to act as if he is authorized to protect the country, which he is. The real issue is, does the president have the power to declare a national emergency and use the existing available funds from other budgets like defense to deal with it? There's a law that says the Army can be used to build barriers and other tasks on the border to protect the nation. So there's a legal use of funds there. There has been billions of dollars appropriated for border walls by Congress in the recent past. There is a wall being built right now as we speak. So the Dems cannot say to the court that there is no precedent and that it's immoral. They voted for it in the recent past and again last week. People don't know they voted for $200 million worth of funding. Multiple national emergencies have been declared by every president in modern times. It's a well-established precedent. If the Border Patrol declares a crisis an emergency and they make a formal request, and if they're the ones who set the budget and they're the ones that say the barrier is essential, it will be hard for the courts to stop Trump once it becomes past the Ninth Circuit. Okay? Who are the judges to override security experts? I believe he will be able to get the Supreme Court to take it on an emergency review and get it approved a lot quicker than most think. I mean, look, if it comes in March, April, June, he's got to get the wall built. Okay. They did a study about this and they said he would lose 46% of his base. Folks, he'll lose 90% of his base if he does it. We've talked about this. But I think he's been empowered under the Constitution and other laws to do it. And like I said, it has many precedents. And with the 12,000 person caravan on the way, the border's being overwhelmed. The Supreme Court should see this as a real emergency situation. Okay. And it's a question of standing. It's an impossible position to take. The plaintiff is an illegal alien. Who's going to be the plaintiff in this case? An illegal alien? Pelosi? So that's where I think Trump's head is on that. As far as the investing part, the market has been rising. I'm going to give you a little investing tip and explain to you why we liked Apple. And I'm going to explain to you what's going on. The market has shot up. Okay, you saw Apple shoot up. You saw a lot of the other semiconductors, banks, everything is shot back up. Why is that? Because the government shutdown was settled last week, which is another reason he did what he did. The semiconductor stocks are rising on it because there's a fact that there's a trade deal going. Okay. And that's something that Trump understands the wealth effect for the economy. If you saw the jobs report today, the last two jobs reports have been fantastic. And that's where we're heading with this. As far as the stocks go, to give you a little tip, on a stock like Apple, we recommended it when it was $148. Okay. Now it's $165. But even at $165, the company has $28 of net cash when you take their cash minus all their debt, long-term debts. By taking the $28 out, it's like buying a car for $165 and having $28 in the back seat. Okay, it's $165 minus the $28, which is $137. Apple earns about $13 a share. If you divide 13 into 137, you're making about 10% on your money. Okay, which is, for every $137 of Apple stock you're buying, you're making about $10 in earnings. Maybe $3 or $4 what they pay you in dividends, and the other $7 is reinvested into the business. If you can get a stock with a PE under 12, you're doing great. And if you can buy a stock like Apple, if I call my friend Nicky, who owns a bar in Wycliffe, hi there, Paisan, and try to get him to sell his business to me for 10 times earnings, he'd laugh at me. But in America, in the stock market, you can buy stocks that are priced at nonsensical prices. And we'll talk more about this, and I'll give you tidbits on each one every day that we do this. The last thing we're going to talk about today in sports is everybody talked to me and said, Billy, you seem down on the athletes. No, when I called LeBoob and all these other guys clowns, what I'm saying, and LeBron James does some things to help people, but he overdoes it by shooting off his mouth. What I want to see is there's an athlete. The guy who should be honored is not Colin Kaepernick. The guy is a wimp. He's a racist. He hates the cops. There's a man that played football who was a lot better than Colin named Warrick Dunn. Okay? Warrick Dunn, and you guys who understand Tampa Bay and the Falcons know who he is. Warrick Dunn's mom died when he was in high school. She was a security guard and she got killed. She had like 6 kids. She was a single mom. Okay? What he did the first year he got his first signing bonus from the NFL, he started putting together a charity. And I've talked about my daughter and other people putting together charities. I'd like to do things. And if you want to do something, go Google Warrick Dunn and look him up. Okay? What he does is he started a charity for people who are single parents, okay, that are trying to own a home. Because he thinks owning a home, his mom always wanted to own a home and she couldn't do it. Okay? But this is how smart he is. He says, I don't believe in giving money to people who don't have anything. He works with Habitat with Humanity. And he comes in and he makes sure that people put sweat equity into their house. Before you can get a grant from him, you have to take a financial literary course, which is important. You have to take a homeowner's course. I mean, it's really important, okay? And what he's put together is something that's amazing, okay? What he basically does is he puts down a 10% deposit for your house, and then he gets the sponsors to come in and furnish your house, okay? He gets people to come in, they furnish your house completely, because what people don't understand is when you take out a mortgage, you can borrow the money to own a home, okay? But you can't borrow the money to furnish it, okay? You can put down a down payment and then they'll finance the rest of it. I mean, I remember one of my friends at a house, he owned the house, but he could afford the furniture, okay? And that happens to a lot of people. They have empty rooms, okay? This charity is a great one. Okay, Warrick Dunn is a great person. He's a real hero, okay? Not LeBoob, not Steph Curry, not any of these other people that they're trying to praise, okay? This Warrick Dunn is a real hero, and he's a person this is the kind of athlete that I like, that I want to listen to, that I want to follow, okay? And there's a lot of people that in the NFL, and we're going to be looking into these names. It's ironic because Warrick Dunn should have a commercial. Warrick Dunn is a guy that sacrificed. But see, you don't hear of things like this, okay? His narrative doesn't sell, okay? Because it's not a, oh, poor this, poor me, poor me. It's not like that. Warrick Dunn said, and all he said when he's asked about it, he said, I hope my mom, who was killed in the line of being a security guard, okay, I wonder if Colin Kaepernick would wear socks with his mom's picture on it as a pig, okay? And to make this person a hero, I mean, I will tell you something. I will wear Nikes because the special shoe's good on my foot and I buy them cheap, but I will never buy another Nike product, okay, other than the shoes I need. And I buy them cheap, believe me. They don't make any money on me. I buy them at the discount stores. Okay, so I appreciate everybody, my producer, Michael Stifler, and all our fans out there that just joined up. We've got over 700 subscribers. Kelly in Idaho got his wife and his daughter. Thank you so much. We need to get to 1,000 subscribers so we can get special treatment in eBay and get special exposure. So please keep listening to all our tapes. Tell everybody to keep them on. When you're bored, put them on and listen to them. Because everybody needs to understand the truth. So from behind the wheel of the truth machine, this is Bill Spatrino asking you to sit back and enjoy the ride.